Hello everyone, welcome. It is FRC and round 10 of the 2013 season. We are at Hungarian to start the Hungarian Grand Prix. Your commentator today, as always, will be Ruspro, and let's check out our starting grid straight away. Well, as you already know, or even if you forgot, it's J.M. Fraser on pole position. Is his first pole since India 2012, and alongside him will be the Mercedes driver Jafari Blackwood. On P3 it's another McLaren, it's Fernando Tost, P4 Vucci Carmen, P5 and P6. The third row is occupied by two Red Bulls, P7 for Bagus, P8 Martinez, and on P9 and P10 we have Adam Hidayat and Jacob Horlker. P11 is Andrew Parcells, P12 Erika Hanebusa, P13 is Rushton, P14 is Ako Jakaza. On P15 and P16 are Ray Adam and Max Mittler after Lupin Pasalik and Sanjan Andreoli got their penalties. P17 and P18 are Rodrigo Jimenez and Samuel Toscan. Then it's Alex Luan, Nicolas Johansson, and these guys, Sanjan Andreoli and Lupin Pasalik, who didn't get lucky at all yesterday with their tires. What about the weather conditions? Well, it was raining from time to time yesterday, but we have not seen an a full wet session with both a wet track and rain. In Q1 we had dry conditions and at the end of the session it was getting slippery. In Q2, if I'm not mistaken, it was not raining at all, and in Q3 it was a wet track, but only as only after the session has ended the rain started. So it seems like it will be raining until the very end of this race. Yes, it's confirmed. It is raining and everybody on the starting grid is using the wet tire compound. Now let's see who will be leading the pack into turn 1. So we go green and Hungary. Let's see who will have a better start. Will be Dane Fraser or Jafari Black with the Mercedes driver. Will have the inside into turn 1. That was a really good start for him. And he is already alongside Dane Fraser, or will it be Fernando Tost in the lead of the race? Look at JTLC, it's very tight, and he collides with two McLarens, and Dabovic is out, and Hidayat is out as well. There is also a Caterham. Is it Samuel Toscan? Yes, it is. Max Mittler although he's got very lucky with his car. Looks like he has no damage after this turn 1 incident, and yes, it is 4 drivers out of the race. A Lotus, 2 Caterhams and a Zauber. Let's get back to the top positions, and Jafari Blackwood is in the lead. There was no incident into turn 2, but the start was very chaotic. Martinez is already up into 6th place, with Armin down to 7th. P8 is Rodrigo Jimenez. Look at these 9 positions gained. That's just amazing. P9 is Haku Jakaza. After a pretty good starting position, considering that he's driving an HRT, he started from P14, now he's on P9. And P10 is Benji Rushton with P11 for Ray and Adam, then Hanebusa, and Apoichi has no damage as well. So let's check on the replay what exactly happened in turn 1, but first let's see how Jafari Blackwood took the lead in the race. This is the onboard camera from his car, and Jack Teasley went for it, but Fernandes did not expect a Red Bull between him and his teammate. Here is Abovich, and what's happened to him exactly? And first of all, Hidet was hit by Andrew Paracelsus. That's what caused such a chaos into turn 1. And Paracelsus was hit in the rear as well by one of the HRTs. It was Hakujakaza, and again he's got very lucky as he didn't get any damage. But for well, what I want to say is that for Paracelsus it was an instant karma. Also, what's happened to Oskan? And he was on P18 approaching turn 1, and there he hits Max Miedler. Wow. That was a nice jump on one of the Force Indias. Then he also crashes into Hakujakaza, and then he hits Samet Oskan back. That's where Oscar has lost his rear left, completely lost the control of the car, and that's where he spun. And also that was very dangerous from Abovic as he was returning on the track. As he's hit Santino Andreoli. Also, we kinda missed what has happened after the turn 1. There was almost a contact between Martinez and Armin. Fraser was taking the inside into this corner, and well, he was trying to protect his teammate. Nothing else happened on lap 1, so let's continue our race. Well, here's Benji Rushton. He already had some good opportunities to score points this season. I think his first real opportunity was at Silverstone, and that's where. Oh, that is a retirement. It is Max Smith. No, sorry, it's Fujikarman, of course. And he crashed with Jose Martinez. Was it that classic turn to crash? Of course it was. That was very stupid for Rosetta, because you always have to use your mirrors to see who is on your left and who is on your right. And who is behind you as well. Now it's 2 drivers out, and there will be no more chance to make it 3 in a row for Vucic Armin. Here's Litvin Pasalic. It couldn't get any worse after the puncture has happened at the start of Q2, so uh, he had to retire the car. Not really to retire, but he just lost the control of it. Right in the sector to chicane. It's a green flag, and the drivers can resume racing. Now Abovich from spinning in turn 1 came up into 11th position. He's at the back of Eric Hanebusa. And now the McLarens don't feel so great on the wet track as they were in Q3. Fraser lost 2 positions, Jimenez came from P17 to P6, and Alcázar from P14 to P7. Hanebusa is now overtaken by Abovich into turn 1, and also Erika had to defend from one of the Lotuses, and it was Santino Andreoli. It was pretty close. Santino tried to go around the outside, and the move almost worked. Here's Max Mittler waving right at the back of Jacob Holker, trying to show himself in Jacob's mirrors. Jacob's car's mirrors. And he'll try it again into the chicane. So far 6 drivers are out. Oh, 5 drivers. And again, classic Hungarian. A massive crash on the first lap. And then it's just a train. A train behind an HRT. And that's the only reason the Hungarian Grand Prix is in danger not to take place in 2014. And here is Abovich crashing into Benji Rushton. What an idiot he is. And I'm talking about Abovich committing crimes again. At least he got punished for that one. For this one. Smeedler will be trying to overtake Benji Rushton again. That was a great chance for Benji, and Yeah, Smittler and Holker just spun. As I said, it was another good chance for Benji to score points, but Abovich said no, and that's why Benji will be suffering on P12. What's happened here? No. Yes, Miller just didn't see it coming from Holker. Hey, what are you doing? That was close. I thought that the Swiss driver wanted the revenge. HRT is around P7 and P8, and Trail successfully overtakes Abovich into the chicane. Now Erica has to do it as well. That was... and it didn't work, and as the result, Benji will try to go for it. Into the chicane. Into the chicanes. I don't know how to call these corners. But as a result, Hayabusa lost 2 positions. Thanks to this man. And it seems like Russian is back in the game. And if he overtakes Abovich successfully, he'll be on P10. Well, it really doesn't want two HRTs to be so high in today's race results, and he overtakes one of them. And Darrell is up to P8. And to remind you, he was starting from P21, so that's already some good progress for him. Oh, Adam just runs wide. Or was it just a racing line? I can't really tell. Something's happened again to Benji Rushton. That's how unlucky he is this season. But not really. It was just a clean overtake. Abosh is in the pits and he will be on P16 or on P17 when he'll return the track, but he'll stay on P16. Liftman is too far away from him. Benji Rushton is under the attacks of Eric Hayabusa. Erica was chasing the Williams. Now she's being chased by Williams. I can't say too much about what's going on the track because literally nothing happens. Let's remember who has what strategy. Most of most drivers have 12 to 14 liters of fuel, but Daniel Fraser has a different strategy. He's going long, and looks like he'll have only one uh, stop scheduled. Yeah, in such a heavy car, it will be difficult to get closer to his teammates. So now he has to defend his third position from JT Usley and Aditya Bagus. Bagus is really having a bad season. He's still on P9 and even Fernando Tost is ahead of him in the standings. Fernando has 36 points and Aditya Bagus has 30. Just to compare, Santino Andreoli in P7 and Bagus on P9, Andreoli has 65 points against 30 points from Aditya. So this is a disaster, or maybe Mercedes' second seat curse. Daniel Fraser is still slowly losing time to his teammate and to the race leader Jafari Blackwood as well. The gap between P1 and P3 is about 6 seconds. Well, at Hungarian's turn 2 you can witness, I think I can call the opposite of dive bomb. when driver runs wide, and it actually helps him to get some speed into the corner, and it might help him to overtake another driver that is in front of him, but it doesn't really help objectively to overtake Daniel Fraser. In lap 11 we can see Max Midler can't overtake Benji Russian for P12. Of course, Benji Russian already got 2 points at Nürburgring for finishing on P9, but of course after this success he wants to get even more points, but fortunately it can't happen because of some other drivers having a stroke. Rushton is 3 seconds away from Hanebusa, who's in front of him, and now he's overtaken by Max Smittler. Rain Adam also overtakes Sako Jakaze. Two HRT drivers swap their positions, and the Italian is up into P8. Or maybe it's Akas that has some problems. He's already losing 1 second to Adam. and it's highly likely that Alex Luan will overtake him as well. He's 2.1 already. Something is definitely wrong with Akaza's pace. Luan gets this P9. Somehow Fraser is still on P3, as Chixley and Bagus are fighting for 4th place, but we haven't seen any overtakes in this battle yet. Holger takes Benji Russian as well. It's just such a disappointment for Benji to be in top 10, then being hit by a Bolovich, getting back into P10 and then being overtaken and overtaken and overtaken, and that's how he found himself on 14th position. And the driver behind him is no one other but his teammate Nicholas Johansson. So, next round will be the Belgian Grand Prix. That's when we'll have a summer break, but we'll already had 2 summer breaks or even more this season. So, after the Belgian Grand Prix, you will be able to sign up for the 2014 season, and well, the sign-ups format will be the same as for this season and for the previous 3. It will be name, nationality, and 3 teams that you will pick. If you're a test driver, even if you do not sign up for the 2014 season, you'll have a chance to get one of the seats, especially for the team you are a test driver for. And if you want, you can already you can still sign up for the test driver. The test driver signups are always open, and they help to get an FRC seat more than the second tier that existed in 2011, and it was completely useless. I think that after Spa things will get even more interesting. Then it will be Monza, one of the fastest races in the calendar. Talking about all the straights and just the track configuration, of course, Monza is the temple of speed. And after that, it will be a new venue in FRC. The Japanese Grand Prix is back with a race at Fuji International Speedway. Then it will be another race in Asia. Already, well, it's another race at South Korea at Yeongam Circuit. Then it's Kota, and as a tradition, Interlagos having hosting the final race of the season. Abovic says the fastest lap of the race. Wow. Didn't expect that, but looks like he found his pace and slowly overtaking other drivers. The first one was Nicholas Johansson, he overtook him just now, and his next goal will be Benji Rushton. Now it's Mittler trying to overtake Akaze. Smiller already had a race win here at Hungarian, and some drivers are already going into the pits. One of them is Jeffrey Blackwood, the race leader. Now Toss is in the lead with Fraser second and Bugs third, but it's not really important. At the moment, Blackwood has a 9.3 second pit stop. Teasley 8.5. There's a very good time, but he slowed down for a moment there. He was waiting for Santiago Andreoli, but he didn't really have to. The next one, with his pit stop, is Jimenez, almost 10 seconds. Is the time Andreoli 8.8, but he lets Toros and an HRT pass. 8.8 for Andreoli, and what about others? 9.3 for Rain Adam, 9.2 for Alex Luan. Now even more drivers are in the pits to change their tires. Smitler 9.3, Rushton 9.3 as well. Now Pasalic is going into the pits with Fernando Toss, so Daniel Fraser will take the lead of the race for 5 or 6 more laps. Toss is in the pits, it's a very important moment for McLaren, who are fighting not even for a podium but for the victory as well. 8.7. Nice job. Now it's Buggers with his pit stop. 9.4. definitely slower than a pit stop from the McLaren crew, and Blackwood, of course, he'll be ahead of Fernando Tost, but Fernando can still siege FRA Blackwood, even with all this rain. Fiercely is still ahead of Aditya Bagus after these two drivers had their first pit stops. No, Sergio Hanebusa in the pits, and Dabovic as well. Nicholas Johansson too. Hanebusa 9.3 for Akaza is 8.9. Dabovic 8.8, and Johansson 8.3. So Smither is ahead of Akaza. And we still have one more driver who has an alternative strategy, and as a result he has only one pit stop. It is no one other than Daniel Fraser, who actually puts on the fastest lap of the race, 1:38.724. I think that this strategy really works, but only in the first stint. But still, let's see what will happen next. Andreoli shows an even faster time, 1:37.029. And I think we have two battles going on. No, just one. Smitler will try to overtake Erika Hanebusa to at least get some points. And Smitler is in top 10 with this overtake. Is it the weather getting better because everyone is going faster than ever before? Even Diane Fraser on his old tires. And will it be a fastest lap? Actually, no, it won't. He had a fastest lap, but now in the lap times ranking, he is only on P9. Jafari Blackwood, now it's Fernando Tost now, 1:36.5. It was 1:37 just now, but no. The lap times are getting better and better. Dame Fraser's fastest lap was 1:38.6, and now the fastest lap is 1:36.5. It's not like these drivers have intermediates on. It's the track. The track's progressing. Here is Fernando Tost with another improvement on his personal best. Max Mittler 1:36.4. Watching drivers improve their lap times in the race is actually even more interesting than the race itself. Although I can't really tell who is going up in these uh, in these standings on the top left corner, but you can see a lot of drivers just going up and up. So who will be the fastest? Fraser is actually pitting. Fraser is actually pitting. I don't think that uh, he his new tires will last as long as expected, but the McLaren strategists think that they will. So they put 37 liters of fuel. And as you can see, it's just the light rain now. You can see the skies are now more clear. Fraser rejoins on P5. And this one piece of strategy, I don't think it actually works. He's lost a lot of time to Bugs and Tilsley, but of course Daniel has other plans for this race. So all he has to do is to have a good pace, and probably he will get the podium, but I'm not really sure of it. Jake Tilsley is now the fastest, 135.7. And well, of course it's still raining, but not that heavily as the start. About short Hexakasa now, but I don't think anyone is really interested in this part of P13, but yeah, the fact that Abovich is overtaking other drivers is, well, it's already something good in this race, that we can have overtakes. But on the other hand, Abovich has to get at least 2 penalties. The first one for for joining the track unsafely, Jeffrey Blackwood 135.565, and the second one for crashing into Benji Rushton, TLC 135.547. This is an interesting battle between these two. They're not really fighting on the track. Blackwood is on P1 and Bagos, sorry, wait, and Tilsley is on P3, but Tilsley is just a tiny bit faster than the race leader, as we can see by these graphics. And Blackwood is pretty slow on Sector 1, and you can see why. It's leading Pasalik. He's just waiting to get passed by the leader. There is a yellow flag. Luan? What's happened? It's Max Mittler. It's Max Mittler. Spinning in turn 1 after he was having a battle with Alex Luan. And all this work just went to waste in turn 1. Max is a great fighter when it comes to the comebacks, but you just have to be a bit more careful. Blackwood over to Pasalik. Now Fernando has to get past Litmin really quick if he wants to have an actual fight with Shafari Blackwood. Blackwood, not the best time. And what about Jack Tilsley? He improves it by 0.3 of a second, but wait, it was Bagus. Never mind. Tilsley 135.2, Bagus 135.3. Mass, Treoli, Luan, Adam, Tabusa. And here, of course, there is a massive difference between the track at the start of the race and as it is now. Oh, that's another collision into turn 1. Hanebusa, and that's another spin. The drivers were more careful when it was a heavy rain. But now everyone just keeps making the same mistake. At least 2 drivers already had a clash in turn 1. As I was saying, you can just compare the times of, for example, Rosetta Martinez and Jack Teasley. The difference is more than 10 seconds. And the drivers are not on intermediates yet. For example, the times in Q1 when it was actually dry were 119.1, 119.2. The drivers who were out of Q1 had 119.3 and 4. But now it's still, that's another yellow flag and Holker's in the wall. Don't tell me it was this guy again. And it's Abovich committing crimes again. And he is beaten. He is beaten, letting Akaza get his 10th position. And I guess we can hear some happy noises coming from Russian's car because, well, he's on P11 and he still has a chance to get these points. .4, what a rush from the Russian on the pit lane. He didn't want to waste any more time waiting for his car to, waiting for his crew to change the front wing, and now this is a disaster for Jacob Horliker. His rear wing is gone, he went into the pits for the replacement, but the pit crew was just not ready. Andrea is now with the fastest lap. He's still having a good race after starting from P21, as I already said multiple times. And from the start of the race he gained 14 positions, and that's really a lot. And looks like he will have a battle with another with another driver who has a good race as well, even a great race, I might say. It is Rodrigo Jimenez. Well, Johansson is overtaken by Smittler. Smittler is up to P12. He's recovering from the mistake he made. And Brian Toss now has the fastest lap, 134.7. I think with a lot of stuff going on today that I didn't really expect because it's Hungary, we can finally talk about what's going on in the championship after Santino Andreoli completes his overtake on Rodrigo Jimenez. So the top 3 is Teasley, Armin and Hidayat. Hidayat is out, Armin is out, and only Jake Teasley is still standing in this race on a good position, which is a P3. The gap between him and Armin was 19 points, but now it can get even bigger, and it will be 34 or even 35 points. If Teasley will finish the race on P3, it will be 34 points, and he gets fastest lap, then it will be 35. This will be the gap. Now here takes Litmin Pasalik. Jafar Blackwood actually gets the fastest lap back, 134.6 was his time. I think we can actually tell where Daniel Fraser will be after his pit stop. At least we can try to discuss it. I don't really remember what was the time in the pits, but I think it was around 20-25 seconds, and here is Benji Rushton with this man, Max Smittler. Not really this man, it would be more help. It would be funnier if it was Apovic again in the same corner, but Max Smittler just keeps making mistakes for some reason. So down to P13 again. Fernando Tost is pretending, well, is trying to get this fastest lap in this race, and not works well. 134.5. Jake Teasley is still pretty close to Fernando. 135.591. What about other drivers? The next one will be Daniel Fraser, and it's still P7 for him. Now Rodrigo Jimenez from from P11 to P9. Alex Luan will just keep checking the lap times because it's pretty funny. Alex Luan, P9. He's ahead of Rodrigo Jimenez now. Right at P13. What about his teammate Haku Jakaza, the Japanese driver? Stays on P15. And this is Max Miller with the fastest lap on the board, 134.434. Interesting number combination. What about Amovic? And he's not really the fastest, only P7 for him in these fastest lap standings. Jafari Blackwood came very close to Fernando's there, but I mean to Max Smittler, and Erka Hanebusa is out. What's happened here? It was a suspension failure. Thank God it was not Pirelli again, but these are the wet tires, so I don't think it's really supposed to happen. Bagus 134.416. Fraser only P7. Signed Tin Andreoli. Stays on 6th in the fastest laps rankings. Green flags again. Smeetler. That's another overtake for him. Back to P11. It's still 24 laps to go. So long today's race is. Usually the races take 1.5 hours, but it's raining, so it will take around 2 hours to complete the race.
Pit this lap, pit this lap.
And here goes for the drivers with a 2 pit stop strategy. Blackwood and Toast are already coming in this lap. No information about the others, but I think they will be the only drivers to pit now. Randos and Jafari Blackwood, probably the only two drivers who can win this race, and maybe Dane Fraser, who knows. But now we will actually see if Daniel's strategy worked or not, but for now it works pretty well, and he will overtake both his teammate and Jafari Blackwood. But how big will be the gap? I mean, it's a pretty solid gap between Jafar and Daniel.
Pit this lap. Pit this lap.
Nico Johansson is beaten. Seems like he'll be the only one on the pit lane this lap. And Popovich sets the fastest lap. His lap was actually 9/10 of a second faster than Horlicker's. That's interesting. Now, for example, let's see Daniel Fraser cross the line, and he'll be on P9 in these rankings. JD is in the pits, 9.1. Andreoli is in the pits as well. Oluan is in the pits. Akaza is pitting as well. .5. Bagus is pitting. Passing is pitting.
Pit this lap.
Bagus cannot overtake Nico Johansson before he comes in the pits. Akazu has 9.5, and here is IDT Bagus. Blackwood 133.2, 133.1 by Fernando Tost, and he is the fastest at the moment. Tilsley is overtaking Jimenez very easily with his newer and pressured tires. Reynadam pits now. Max Smittler. Smittler has a 9.1 second pit stop. Benji Rushton now. 9.6. And Blackwood! Look at Blackwood and at the difference between the times of these two drivers. It's still 20 laps to go, and I think there is absolutely no chance for Daniel Fraser to win this race. You can see how rapidly Blackwood is actually chasing Fraser. The gap is already 1 second. Andreoli now 132.9. 132.9 by Abovich as well, but he's slower by 1/100th of a second. And I think I already know who will be the leader after turn 1, and I guess you know it too. It will be Jafari Blackwood taking the lead of the race back from Daniel Fraser. Well, Jack Tilsley right now has this 1 point for the fastest lap. Now, nothing can stop Fernando Tost from overtaking his teammate. Jimenez is down to P7. He had a pit stop. And he rejoins on P7. This is how Fernando Tost overtook his teammate into turn 1. That was a pretty easy move. That makes Daniel Fraser to drop down to 3rd position. And with the pace he has at the moment, I'm not even sure he will make it into top 5 with about 15 laps to go. And guess what? It's raining heavily again. And that means that drivers will not be improving on their laps now. and they'll be going slower and slower. Aboch is pitting. I think it is. It will be. No, it will not be the last scheduled pit stop. Holker is yet to pit as well. .5 for Jacob Holker. Now we can see that the Caterham driver Ludwig Pasalik is overtaken by another driver. This time it's Satyan Drelly. 8.5 is the time of his pit stop. If everything is at least fine in Sector 1 for all the drivers, then Sector 2 is the wettest one, because some drivers still gain some time on Sector 2, on Sector 3, some don't. Like, that's very difficult to predict. For example, Fraser is losing time on Sector 2 in Sector 2 in Sector 3, well, Rushton is having a good Sector 1, Sector 2, but he's slower on Sector 3, and for example, Blackwood or Toast, I don't remember who exactly it was, had a good Sector 1 and Sector 3, but Sector 2 was just not good at all. So this is very difficult to predict. For example, let's see what time will be shown by Jafari Blackwood. After the middle sector, he's slower by 8/10 of a second. The same thing for Fernando Tost, and for other drivers as well. Like, TSL lost 1 second, but I think it's because of Benji Rushton. Yeah, now everyone is losing time in Sector 3. And, well, I think we can already conclude that this 1 point for the fastest lap will go to JT Easley if he finishes the race in top 10, of course. Right now he's on P4, and he's about to overtake Daniel Fraser. If only they don't crash, but I really hope that it will not happen. Oh, he sure takes Sakujakaza. GTSA or took Daniel Fraser. Yes, he did. And it is 14 laps to go. Smithler is back into top 10. Now it's very important that he will not crash other into another driver again, like he did twice. And if he crashes into Ray and Adam, I will never forgive him. So, Isla 41, Jafar Blackwood leading, that is Toss, Tilsley Fraser, Bagus on P5, Andrea P6, and Smithers going for the dive bomb. He pushes Rain Adam wide, and that's how he gets this P9. But I'm very sure that this incident will be investigated by the stewards. Can't say it was an overtake, more like it was a dive bomb. So sane. The top 6 is Blagotos, Tilsley, Fraser, Bagos, and Trail, and P7 it is the best of Form 1.5 drivers, Rodrigo Jimenez. 7 good race today. On P8 is Alex Luan, P9 Max Miller, and P10 Ryan Adam. Then Abovich, who might be penalized if he gets into top 10. For example, if someone retires on P12 with Sakujakaze, there was a chance that both HRTs would be in top 10, but now it's only Rain Adam on 10th position. What's next? Who's next? It's Nico Johansson, Benji Rushton, Jacob Holker, and Lithuanian Pasalik, and the other 6 drivers are out, who Erika Hanebusa, Reza Martinez, Vuci Karmin, Adam Hidayat, Andrew Paracelos, Samet, and Samet Oskan. Oh, what a surprise! It actually stopped raining. No, that wasn't expected. but still, in my opinion, the drivers, there will be no new fastest lap, because with only 12 laps to go, I don't think that the track will be dry enough to actually improve the lap times. Here is DJ Bagus, here is Daniel Fraser, and you know what will happen now. Daniel Fraser can't do anything. His strategy was completely... His strategy completely screwed the race. Even when he was on P3, I think it was fine, because he still had a chance to get the podium, but because of this strategy, um, he is now on P5. And there is still a chance that he can be overtaken by Santino Andreoli before the end of the race. It's 11 laps, and well, it's possible, but the chances are pretty low, because Andreoli and Fraser are separated by 13 seconds, so to actually overtake Daniel, Santino has to gain 2 or more seconds on the Brit every lap. As you can see, Sector 1 is, how can I say it, the driest out of all 3 sectors. Sector 2, still a lot of water there, and Sector 3 is pretty okay, at least from what we see as Benjamin Russian's lap. But for Santino and Hurley, Sector 3 was also not quite good. Cheeky Holker, yes, the times are actually contradicting each other, because Holger had a bad Sector 1, a pretty good Sector 2, and a pretty bad Sector 3. Pasalik, pretty good Sector 1, pretty good Sector 2, and a bad Sector 3. Like, you see, it's all completely random. Now, Lund has both terrible Sector 1 and Sector 2, but on Sector 3 it was pretty okay. Speedler, bad Sector 1, good Sector 2, and Sector 3 is fine. Abovich, oh, that was really unexpected, and he improves by 4/10 of a second. What the hell is going on? Okay, for example, let's have an onboard with Blackwood. And again, I was wrong about Jake Teasley getting this fast lap, for sure. Blackwood 3/10 of a second faster than his previous fastest Sector 1 time. On Sector 2, we will see what are the conditions on the middle sector. For example, for Jafari they're pretty bad, for Akaza both Sector 1 and Sector 2 are terrible. For Fernandosa it's the same thing as for Jafari Blackwood. So you can't really say that Sector 2 is as dry as it used to be on like in the middle of the race. Here's Abovic, now he has all three sectors pretty bad. But I still can't believe he improved, and his fastest time is better than his teammates by 4/10 of a second. Here is the Russian mafia guy, Abovic. At least this time he didn't do anything stupid. Seven laps to go. The race was not so bad after all. Well, if I was to pick the driver of the day, actually I don't know who would it be. It would be rather Andreol or Jimenez. Both of them had good races. Uh, Jimenez didn't have a top tier car, but he had an excellent start, and uh, he ended up on P6 and lost just one position since then. It's raining again, but I'll just continue my monologue. So Jimenez had a pretty good start and lost just one position since then. And of course he lost it to Santin Andrel, who also had an awesome race, starting from P21 and ending up on P6. That's that's an achievement, especially at Hungary. But of course there is another driver who uh, gained a lot of positions. It's Alex Luan from P19 to P8. About the disappointments, uh, there are there are also, I think, two contenders for the disappointment of the race. The first one is, of course, this guy, and the second one is not just one person, but I think the entire strategy center of McLaren, who decided to put Dane Fraser on just one pit stop strategy. Of course, it didn't work. It does not really work for anyone, anyways. And this is how Daniel ended up on P5. Of course, Santino Andreoli will not overtake the McLaren driver. The gap between P5 and P6 is 10 seconds. Three laps to go. In the previous 3 years we had 3 different winners, but from only 2 different teams. In 2010 the winner was Max Miller for Ferrari, in 2011 it was Daniel Fraser from Ferrari again, and last season it was Saddam Hidayat who could break this streak of races won by Ferrari, so it will be 4th different race winner and 3rd different constructor winner. Jafar Blackwood really was unstoppable today. Good start, managed to keep his pace up, and didn't let Fernando to get even just 1 second. Ah, and didn't even let Fernandos to catch him today. It will be 2 laps to go, and I'm pretty sure he is the race winner today. I think that even if Max Midler gets a 10-second penalty for time bombing Adam and pushing him wide, he will still be on P9. So the only way Adam can get his P9 back is to well, the only way he can make it up into P9 is for Max Midler to get a drive-through penalty, but I don't think the drive-through penalty will be given for him, unlike for Abovic. But still, with even with 10 seconds added to his race time, he will be behind Adam. But let's see, there's still one more lap to complete. Final lap, Tilsley will get only 15 points today, but it will be enough to increase his gap in the championship to 34 points between him and Fuchik Armin. But as Jafari Blackwood wins the race, he will have 120 points. That puts him up into 3rd place in the standings. It was a great race by Jafari Blackwood indeed. Has I already said that? Just 3 more corners to complete. Turn 12, and now the 2 hairpins. Turn 13 and turn 14. Well, let's count this season's wins by drivers. 3 races won by Tilsley, 2 races won by Armin, and it will be 2 races won by Jafari Blackwood as well as he crosses the line and wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. P2 for Fernando Tost, still podium is a great achievement for McLaren, and on P3 is still our championship leader, Jake Tilsley. Before DT Bagos, he's got some points. That's already some good news. Dane Fraser P5, Hakujak as a P12. Couldn't really make it into the top 10. P13 Nico Johansson, but on P6 it is Santian Raioli, P14 Russian, P15 Holker, P7 Jimenez, P8 Lon, and Smithler. No, what are you doing? Bruh. Max Smithler does it again and finishes the race on P8 with 10 seconds or even 20 seconds, who knows, will be added to his final race result. But in the unofficial results, he is on 8th, Alex Long P9, and Abovich P10. But I think the real man who gets the P10 will be Ryan Adam for HRT. He crosses the line, and what will be the gap? 12.9 seconds. So the drivers retired are Hanebusa, Martinez, Armin, Hidiet, Paracels, and Oskan. The fastest lap is already set, goes to Avovic, but he gets no point for it. Now it's time for the national anthems, the anthem of Jamaica and Germany. The Hungarian Grand Prix is over, and now we have only 6 more races to complete the 2013 season. Well, Jake Hughesley has a massive advantage in the championship standings, but who can stop him? We will find out next week in Spa-Francorchamps. Your commentator today, as always, was Rus Pro. Thank you everyone for watching. I wish you a good afternoon, a good evening, or a good night. And goodbye. See you in Belgium.